The poem A Little Grain of Gold, written by Rabindranath Tagore. Tagore was awarded the Nobel Prize for his collection of poems Gitanjali in 1913. This is the 50th poem in the collection. The poem is about the strange ways in which God tests his devotees. The poem tells us an interesting parable. It sounds simple but conveys a valuable message. It highlights the virtue of giving. The poem effectively drives home the point that giving should come before taking. Thus it acquires a remarkable and universal appeal. The speaker, a beggar, was on his begging rounds. He saw the king of all kings coming his way in a George's chariot. He was excited, thinking that he would get plenty eyes on, but the king, to the beggar's shock and surprise, asked him what he would give. The beggar thought it was a royal joke. He slowly took out the least little grain of corn from his bag and gave it to the king. That evening the beggar found a least little grain of gold in his arms. He wept bitterly. He wished he had the heart to give his all to the king, who in fact was God. The poem Climate Change, written by anonymous poet. The poem is thought-provoking. It presents a complex problem in a simple language. The seriousness of the situation is clearly projected. The reasons such as increasing emissions are established beyond doubt. Consequences, dying nature and dying man can find an effective expression. A solution, global debate is suggested, and it is for the reader to act. That to at once. The poem succeeds in making the reader aware of the problem. Drastic changes are taking place. The air and the water are getting more and more polluted. Our lungs are getting affected by the emissions from factories and vehicles. Global temperatures are rising. As a result, low-lying places are getting submerged. We are responsible for all these problems. We have to face the consequences for our reckless actions. All fishes and birds will die. The air and the water will become polluted and unfit to be used. The poet says that it would be a pity if children had to grow up in such a world. We owe it to future generations to make the world a better place to live in. The poem The Royal Tombs of Golconda, written by Sarojini Naidu. The poem deals with the tombs of the seven Qutub Shahi rulers situated about 2 kilometers from Golconda Fort. These tombs are set amidst the beautifully laid out gardens of Ibrahim Bagh. Every arch, dome and gallery in these tombs is a gem of Qutub Shahi architecture set in picture perfect serene surroundings. Sarojini Naidu picturizes the valor, gallantry and beauty of the kings and the queens of a pagan era which this monument symbolizes. Sarojini Naidu brings to life the grandeur and the glory of Golconda Empire in her poem. The poet visits the Qutub Shahi tombs in Hyderabad. As she looks around, she feels that she has stepped into the past. She can visualize the royal empire in all its glory. Centuries have gone by, but the legends about the valor of the kings still abound. Monuments like Golconda Fort to stand mute testimony to the nobility, tolerance, enlightenment and foresight of the kings. The reign of the Qutub Shahi rulers was synonymous with peace, culture and prosperity. The poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, written by the famous American poet Robert Frost. One winter evening the poet was passing through a wood on horseback. The trees and the ground were covered with snow. It was quiet and there was no one else nearby. The poet was struck by the beauty of the landscape. He lingered there for a while. He contemplated on the beauty of the scene. Captivated by the beauty of the woods, he stops there. But the horse finds it strange and signals questioning him about his intent by shaking its harness bell. The poet makes up his mind to continue his journey, concluding with the most famous lines of the poem. Man and nature, man and the animal world are harmonized in a telling poetic statement. The central focus is not on the woods but on the duties to be performed.